Okay. You rely on tests that you don't know when it was administered, you don't know the score of the test, and you don't know the state of the person being tested, but you're going to
rely. Johnny Debs' lawyer's feisty court examination of Dr. Spiegel. Full. Psychiatrist argues about Johnny. Johnny Debs' lawyer, psychiatrist, asked if he saw what is this?
How I've seen him interact in public. How I've seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact.
Oh, we were gonna watch the Twitter expert too. Let's see what this fucking thing is about.
Towards the top.
All right. So
Twitter expert claims hashtag justice for Johnny Depp is negative towards Amber Heard. Wait, first of all, it's true. Of course it is. But how the fuck? What does that have to do with Johnny Depp? What? What is a Twitter? What is going on, dude? What the fuck? Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. Watch these on Asmin's channel and take a nice break. What? Want me to turn on Asmin? You want me to turn on Asmin Gold's YouTube channel? Bro, why don't you guys just why don't you go watch him? I don't understand. He's live.
Testified that you reviewed a number of hashtags that you deemed were negative towards Ms. Heard. That's right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the four you picked.
Okay, first thing I would ask if I'm a lawyer is how mentally ill are you? Okay? Because everybody knows the more mentally ill you are, the better you are at Twitter. The more of an expert you are at Twitter. So if he says I'm not mentally ill at all, then it's okay, well then you're not a Twitter expert. Okay? You can't just say you're a Twitter expert without being even half as mentally ill. You can't. It's just you can't do that.
At least the negative ones. Justice for Johnny Depp. That's from one of them, right?
That's right.
Amber Heard is an abuser. That's one of them.
That is one of them.
We just don't like you, Amber. That's one of them.
That is one of them.
And the last one was Amber Turd, right?
that is another one.
Okay. And these four hashtags you identified and searched for.
I bet this guy doesn't even have a single fucking account dedicated to BTS. Okay? I bet this guy doesn't switch over from being insanely racist to being a hyper socially conscious social justice warrior at the tip of a hat, depending on who the person that he's engaging in mass harassment on. Okay? I bet he's not doing that. So again, not enough mental illness, dude. I bet he doesn't have a single NBA YoungBoy account that has my follower notifications on specifically so you can say, used to be a big fan, but you have unfortunately fallen off. I'll literally be oh man, I really miss my dog on this day. And then NBA YoungBoy fans will come in and be you've fallen off, sir. I could be I love my mom. I saw him in your QRTs. Okay, yeah.
You don't believe they have any connection, or you testified that you have no connection to these three Waldman statements. The hashtags aren't connected to Waldman, right?
Well, I did an additional analysis that did show how many of those had Waldman connected to them, and I found that 1 out of 4 of them did.
Right. But when you were deposed, you were asked whether these were related, these particular hashtags were related to any of the Waldman statements, and you said no at that time.
I said more than that. I said I didn't know, and then I said I'm basing I'm looking at Mr. Banya's opinion where he says they would be if they were in large number, and I'm adopting his opinion and agreeing with him that they must be connected.
So you're adopting.
This is a completely insane thing to bring up in a fucking defamation trial I feel like the ongoing Twitter attitude towards Amber Heard. What the fuck? I actually don't understand why this is. I mean, this is like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this other than like they're just straight wilding out. Is this guy even pledged to quit Twitter, then posted through it anyways? Exactly.
An opinion that hasn't been rendered in this case yet by anybody but you.
Well, I know that Mr. Banya
Has testified.
Okay, what I'm saying is I know that Mr. Banya's disclosure says that he is expected to come to that opinion.
All right. But the only person who's ever expressed this opinion to date in this courtroom is you, correct?
I wouldn't know. I haven't watched everything. I've watched a bit.
So
but
you're adopting your own opinion.
no, I'm adopting the opinion that I read in Mr. Banya's disclosure.
All right. And that's not the opinion you had during your deposition.
I think I did make reference in my deposition to what Mr. Banya said, and that I agreed with it.
All right. And you indicated in deposition you didn't take into account statements made in the media, correct?
Made in what? I couldn't hear.
You said you did not take into account in your analysis statements made in the media.
Media. Yes, in the analysis where I gathered data and decided which data to gather, I did not take into account statements.
They're trying to show that Depp hired firms to use bots to turn off the narrative, to turn the narrative against Amber Heard. This guy's actually an expert when it comes to computer science. This guy's been working on the Linux kernel for a long time now. He doesn't have an undergraduate degree because he was so intelligent, his college jumped him up. Okay, so I heard this before, that like Johnny Depp used PR teams to like push for fucking bots or whatever. Dude, there is now, I don't know what he's saying, but there is now two fucking communities that have grown, like two expert witness communities that have grown on the internet that are impossible to stop and incredibly fucking annoying, and liberals love them. Bot experts who are constantly talking about Russian bots. Everything is hyped by Russian bots, okay? And fucking epidemiologists who are, talking about how monkeypox is going to fucking murder you in your sleep because like one person came out with monkeypox. It's an unfortunate byproduct of capitalism and how capitalism impacts every fucking community, even the expert testimony community. And it is, I don't know, it's just, I find it really annoying when people are very clearly motivated to greatly exaggerate the impact certain things have on the internet because it justifies their existence. It justifies their job, basically. It like relies on how they can make money. Like, this is how they make money when you know what I mean? So now we got to move on to the new thing, like the new shiny object, which is monkeypox.
So you looked at data, you produced charts, you did analysis relating to the data. Isn't that true?
That's true. I think that's an appropriate scientific methodology to not to first gather as much data as possible and then drill down on the data.
All right. And the Twitter data you collected shows that the 4 hashtags you identified were in existence before Mr. Waldman made the first statement in April 2020, right?
That's correct.
Right.
In very small number.
But justice for Johnny Depp has been around since 2013, correct?
That sounds correct.
Yeah. Amber Heard is an...
Damn, bro, it's crazy that they set it up. I mean, obviously, like, dude, these fucking bot farms or whatever, 100%, like probably amplify organic movements on the internet, right? Like, that's how it works. But also, it's a really silly thing to like, I don't know. It's hard to prove, and I think it's a silly thing to just like have this conversation around, especially when, they can turn around. They can basically turn around and fucking shit on you for it by being like, it's been around since 2013.
Abuser, and Amber Heard first appeared in 2016, correct?
I don't recall, actually.
Right. Do you recall if there was any portion of Mr. Waldman's statement that made any reference to Amber Turd?
Not that I've seen.
Right. People can form a negative view of Ms. Heard without reading Mr. Waldman's statements, correct?
People can form a negative opinion of anyone without reading anything. That's correct.
And you didn't consider whether there was negative.
You should rewatch David Fincher's Gone Girl. It's actually wild how many parallels it has to this case. I don't need to rewatch it, dude, okay?
Publicity around Ms. Heard other than the Waldman statements.
Well, what I did was to report on correlation with these hashtags and certain search terms in particular. I wasn't trying to read anyone's mind as to why they used them.
Right. You didn't form any opinion that of the million plus tweets that you looked at were connected in some way to Mr. Waldman's statements.
I did eventually, yes.
You did eventually after you read somebody else's report relative to testimony that hasn't been given here.
Well, I did it before my deposition.
All right. You have a demonstrative that counsel played for you. Can we put up plaintiff's 1901 again? This is yours, right?
Correct.
Yeah. The biggest spikes, by far the biggest spikes here, are attributable to what hashtag?
Justice for Johnny Depp hashtag.
Yeah. And there are spikes that existed.
Bro, you can't go against the sea of incels, okay? Again, I'm the Twitter expert. I'm the most mentally ill out of these two individuals, okay? So let me tell you as a Twitter expert, the more you are mentally ill, the higher your level of mental illness, the more powerful you are on Twitter, okay? And incels are like insanely mentally ill, okay? Super, mega mental illness. So obviously, you can't go against them. You just can't. Like, it's just impossible, dude. It's impossible. Their power level is far too high. It's hard to go against that seat. The weird part about this bot argument is that the bots don't even have to come from inside the house. Stands just do that shit on their own. Exactly. That's what they, again. I mean, think about it this way. Think about like the fucking psychotic bots in my replies. Like someone, like a crypto guy, got mad at me for fucking shitting on crypto, and then they like sent these insane bots up my asshole to say stuff like, you know, the crazy things like Hassan murdered my dog. Remember all the fucking thousands of accounts that would reply to everything? Like, those are pretty funny because, like, again, we are not Normans, okay? We are all mentally ill enough to, like, understand and make humor out of that, okay? But from a Norman's point of view, they're like, damn, thousands of people are saying, like, you know, Hassan is murdering dogs and shit like that. Because they just don't understand it. They never mention bots in this. I mean, they're, well, not bots, but they're saying it was boosted. Like that public, that attitude against Amber Heard was boosted. Hold on, I gotta grab something on the back.
Before Mr. Waldman's statement, you were asked about that by counsel?
One of them did. That was the date that Mr. Waldman leaked the audio tape.
The biggest spike was before the statements.
Right, the date he leaked the audio.
And then there were many statements that, or there are many hashtags or uses of the hashtag that follow the statements.
You'll have to be more specific.
Well, so you looked at 1.2 million of these hashtags, right?
Right.
In your chart, didn't 980,000 of these plus belong to Justice for Johnny Depp?
That sounds about right. You'd have to show me, but I'll take your word for it.
All right. But the vast majority of them were Justice for Johnny Depp.
A majority of them were.
Well, it wasn't the majority so large that you had to draw another chart?
The reason for drawing another chart is because the numbers were high at particular points, so you wouldn't be able to see the other hashtags.
Right. Literally, this is your chart, and all of the other activity at the bottom you can barely see in comparison to the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp.
Right, as I testified, you can barely see them because of the spikes in the Justice for Johnny Depp hashtag, but when you look at the other chart, you can see that those others are still very large numbers.
So you're not offering any opinion as to what caused these spikes.
That's correct.
Right. So you're not opining as to why these spikes are there.
I'm only talking about correlation.
Right. You're talking about a mathematical connection.
That's right.
Right. And you don't purport to be in anybody's head such that you know why they did a particular post with a particular hashtag.
That's correct.
All right. There's a second spike that appears to be in July of 2020.
Yes, the pointer was pointing to a different one, but yes.
Yeah. Were you aware there was a trial in the UK in 2020
I'm aware.
and in July?
You're saying it was in July?
No, but as of the time of that spike, there was publicity around a trial, correct?
I don't know how much publicity there was. I know the trial was going on then.
All right. There are a number of things called out in your chart relative to particular dates, December 17th, February 11th, February 14th. You see all those?
I do.
And your chart makes absolutely no reference to and does not identify the dates of any of the Waldman statements, does it, sir?
No, it doesn't call those out, if that's what you're asking.
It calls out a whole bunch of other dates, but nothing relative to the Waldman statements.
Correct.
All right. All right. At some point, you ran searches for additional search terms: hoax, fraud. I think you said fake. And then you don't know why those terms appeared, do you?
I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Are you asking me?
You could not perform a scientific analysis of the reason why those terms appeared in the tweets you were looking at.
Right. I could only show mathematical correlation.
Right. You could show a correlation.
Your Honor, my client was fucking seen as a fake fraud, unfortunately, and that's why a lot of people were saying that. Also, incels were boosting that as well, on top of everything else. It's like, dude, this is such a strange thing to fucking have like an expert testimony on. But I guess this is just our future. We are living in it. This is the world where we are gonna have motherfuckers who are literally just like doing, Your Honor, they were eating my client's ass in the QRTs, exactly, professionally. You will never be able to go against the powerful force of incels on the fucking internet, okay? It just won't happen. Bernie Sanders is live. Oh my God, poggers, dude. Bernie Sanders is live. Oh my God, dude. Poggers, bro.
But you don't have any idea why they're there.
I can't get into people's heads.
Right. And just because the tweet contains one of the terms does not mean the tweet was in some way prompted by Mr. Waldman, right?
Well, there are a few things I searched for. The ones you just mentioned, and then the Waldman and Waldmanion terms. So, you know, it's not that big a stretch to say that it's related to Mr. Waldman if it's his name and Waldmanion or Minion.
Wait a minute, is the new standard, it's not that big a stretch?
No.
Or the
I'm trying to
standard
speak.
is
I'm
scientific
trying to.
certainty, right?
Yes.
All right. So you're not suggesting that you know why Mr. Waldman's name appeared in any of these tweets?
Well, if you look at if you look at the tweets that have Wald Mignon, you know, and I looked at a large sample of them.
Just a large sample was 2,000 out of 1,000,002.
No, I looked at more than that of these. But that's another thing that I wouldn't expect to be in controversy. You know, when people are saying that they're part of the Wald Minions or things like that, I would expect everybody to agree without arguing that it has to do with Mr. Waldman.
Nobody asked whether it had to do with Mr. Waldman. I'm wondering, how do you know that it had anything to do with Mr. Waldman's statements?
But I was under the impression, I was informed that nobody really knew who Mr. Waldman was before all of this, so I wouldn't expect it to be anything else. I didn't think it was in controversy.
I literally don't know who the fuck is a Wald Minion, dude. Take a week off for saying my streamer only eats.
It wasn't in controversy whether everyone knew who Mr. Waldman was. Is that your testimony?
No, I'm saying it wasn't in controversy that that if somebody was suddenly talking about him, that it had to do with this case.
All right, but again, it's not, did it have to do with this case? It's, did it have to do with the allegedly defamatory statements? You have no idea, do you, sir?
I can't get into anyone's mind. I can only talk about the science of it.
Right. And so you identified all of these hashtags as negative towards Miss Heard, right?
Right.
Justice for Johnny Depp is not negative towards Miss Heard, is it?
No, but the tweets that use that hashtag are.
No, but the hashtag itself, the hashtag that predominates through your analysis is not, in fact, negative towards Miss Heard.
I'm not opining on the hashtag itself. I'm talking about the tweets that contain that hashtag.
I'm gonna be honest. This is why it's really difficult to make any kind of assessment on this shit. Like, of course, the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp is like negative towards Amber Heard, but debate lords will eat your ass. Because ultimately you can debate him on the fucking semantics of it. Like, oh, well, you know, why are you saying that justice for Johnny Depp means, you know, it's anti-Amber Heard? They're just talking about justice. I find that to be kind of stupid.
Hashtag.
But the hashtag itself is not negative.
That's not part of my opinion, one way or the other.
But